Have you ever felt that pull, towards someone who just seems to have it all together, this incredibly glamorous life, but then you start to sense there's something else underneath, something darker, maybe even dangerous? Welcome to the deep dive. We take a whole stack of sources, could be articles, research, detailed notes like we have today, and we really just pull out the absolute must-know bits. The goal is simple: give you a shortcut to being genuinely informed, maybe share a surprising fact or two, and hopefully keep you hooked along the way.
Definitely. And today, we're diving headfirst into May Cobb's novel, The Hunting Wives, using these excerpts you've given us.
Right.
We land in Mabelton, Texas.
Yeah.
Population.
Yeah, 50,000 exactly.
Yeah.
Sophie O'Neill, she's our main character, calls it small enough to feel quaint, big enough to have a Chipotle.
The essentials.
The absolute essentials. And she's moved there looking for this slowed down life, trying to escape the hustle.
So our mission today is to really unpack this thing. We're talking themes. Obsession is a big one, right?
Yeah. And these really complicated, sometimes pretty toxic relationships. Plus, there's a murder mystery unfolding.
And beneath all that, Cobb's got some sharp things to say about society, about privilege.
Yeah, definitely. We want to dig into that.
So we're asking some big questions here, like how does obsession just completely warp your view of things?
Mm-hmm.
What really goes down when these secrets, these privileged lives, crash into small-town reality?
And how do these, seemingly innocent desires, wanting excitement, connection, how do they spiral into something, well, catastrophic, murderous even?
Exactly. And everything we're talking about today comes straight from these novel excerpts, giving you a really direct look inside the story.
Okay, let's start at the beginning then. Sophie's moved to Mabelton. What was her vision? Because it sounds almost utopian at first.
Oh, completely. She's coming from Chicago, Evanston specifically, so think upscale suburb, lots of pressure.
Right.
And she wants to slow down, get away from it all. That's her mantra. She's picturing literally less exhaust, more trees, more nature, more time.
Like a lifestyle blog vision board.
Pretty much. She mentions wanting to be like the pioneer woman without all the cast iron, or every woman's Gwyneth Paltrow without all the eye-rolling nonsense.
Okay, I get the picture. She's trying to escape something very specific.
Definitely. That frantic, maybe unfulfilling suburban grind.
And it wasn't just about her, right? Her son, Jack, was a big part of this vision.
Oh, absolutely central. She dreamt of this almost free-range childhood for him. Packs of children running free through the neighborhoods, building forts in the woods.
A total contrast to what she felt she was leaving behind.
Exactly. She describes Chicago suburbs as this sea of skinny jeans, women drenched in designer clothes, always straining to be happy, and hovering over the children like bloodthirsty mosquitoes.
Wow. Okay, so a real yearning for something more authentic, grounded.
Yeah, I think authenticity is the key word. Something real, something natural she felt was just missing. It's that classic escape to the country dream.
But dreams and reality, they don't always line up, do they? How does small-town life actually hit her?
Well, that initial blast of fresh air, zero traffic, quiet stores, all those bottomless hours, it starts to feel different.
How so?
It becomes oppressive. That's the word she uses. The quiet, the lack of constant noise and demand, it starts to weigh on her instead of freeing her.
Interesting. The very thing she wanted becomes a burden.
Yeah, and you really see it in her struggle with her blog at Slow Down Life.
The blog, right?
She says she's having a hard time getting motivated with it lately. It's not like her old magazine job.
No instant gratification.
Exactly. No seeing her name in print, no hard deadlines. She feels like her posts are just slinging it out into the abyss. There's no real gratification.
That makes sense. The isolation of working from home in a new, quiet town.
Yeah, her friend Rox, back in the city, would probably just say, well, yeah, of course. But for Sophie, it's a shock. She misses the buzz, the deadlines, the glamour, maybe.
So the quiet she craved actually ends up highlighting what's missing for her internally.
I think that's spot on. It creates this void. And that void gets filled, doesn't it?
Before we get to how it gets filled, let's talk about her past, because that seems crucial to understanding her.
Oh, absolutely. Her childhood sounds incredibly unstable. She calls herself a tumbleweed because her mom, Nikki Jones, was a traveling ER nurse with a man in every port.
Wow.
Yeah, so constant moving. And her dad, mostly absent. She describes him as, mostly by his absence, the void that my mother tried to constantly fill with new and different men.
That lack of roots, that must have had a huge impact.
You see it playing out in her adult life. Her friend Rox, who sounds like she has Sophie pegged, calls it a classic case of self-sabotage and a fear of intimacy.
The bad boy phase in college.
Right, chasing those darkly handsome ones who'd never call. Rox says it stems from Sophie feeling like damaged goods, basically not worthy of love or stability.
Because she felt like a side note in her mom's life.
Exactly. So Rox tells her, when everything is going great, your instinct is to wreck it. Deep-seated insecurity driving this pattern.
So moving to Mabelton was partly an attempt to break that pattern, to become someone different.
Yes, definitely. She wanted to conform to the version of my very best self, to be more wholesome, more grounded. She even said she wanted to be someone I could admire, someone like Aaron. Aaron seems to represent that stability.
But you can't just move away from your internal stuff, can you?
That's the tragic realization she has. She admits, as it turns out, you can't outrun who you are. My darker urges simply followed me here.
And are even more amplified because it's so quiet and sometimes so boring. Oof, that line is powerful.
It really is. It tells you everything. That internal restlessness isn't geographical. And that boredom, that quiet, it makes her incredibly vulnerable.
Vulnerable to someone like Margot Banks.
Precisely. She's yearning for stability. But her ingrained need for excitement, maybe chaos, is just bubbling under the surface, amplified by the quiet. It makes her prime territory for someone offering, well, exactly what Margot offers.
Okay, let's talk about Margot. The fascination starts online, right? On Facebook.
Yeah, which feels very contemporary. Sophie's just scrolling, trolling her pics, as she puts it, and she becomes entranced. Even the name Margot Banks sounds beguiling to her.
What is it about Margot's online presence that grabs her?
It's carefully curated, for one. Margot's profile is private, so Sophie only sees glimpses through tagged photos, but it's more than that. Sophie focuses on that smirk of irreverence.
The hint of rebellion.
Exactly. That lets me know she's different from all the others in the photograph.
Yeah.
And then there are Margot's blunt comments.
It's like the one about the party.
Yeah, ladies, please. There wasn't enough booze in the joint to make the night bearable. Sophie reads that and just grins. She notices it gets the most likes.
So she feels an instant connection, like she gets it.
Totally simpatico is how Sophie feels. She starts actively looking forward to checking Facebook to try and catch posts she was tagged in. It shows how powerful that curated online persona can be.
And this online stalking, basically, it ramps up pretty quickly into something more intense.
Oh, yeah. It becomes a full-blown obsession. Sophie admits she's thinking about her more and more, wondering about her life, which seems so much bigger than my own.
It's more than just wanting to know her, though. She says something specific.
She does. It's crucial. It wasn't envy, though. I didn't want to be her. It was so much more than that. I wanted to be near her, for her to notice me too.
Wow.
The idea of it took my breath away. It became powerful and even consuming. That intensity is alarming.
It really makes you ask, like you said before, what is she actually chasing here? It doesn't sound healthy at all.
Not remotely. Rox would have called it chasing something unattainable. It's not admiration. It's this deep, almost desperate need for validation, for excitement projected onto Margot.
The need for Margot to notice me too, that feels key.
It becomes her driving force. It starts overriding her judgment, pushing her towards risk. It's escapism, pure and simple, trying to feel alive because her own life feels boring.
And this obsession inevitably spills over into the real world. Tell me about their first actual meeting.
It's at this lavish garden party at the Banks estate. Castle Hill, the oldest, ritziest part of Mabelton 1920s mansions, ancient twisted oaks, instantly signals money and status.
And Sophie feels out of place.
Completely. She mentions feeling a bit self-conscious in my modest dress, surrounded by all these older ladies in their finery. She's the outsider looking in.
But Margot owns this space, presumably.
Oh, totally. The description is almost intoxicating. The sultry night air bathes my skin like a balm. Margot just glides through it and pulls Sophie into her orbit.
And she does that by revealing the secret club.
It's the shooting club. Talk about immediate intrigue and a hint of danger. Margot explains the ritual. Every Friday night, we go out to my lake house and shoot skeets, sometimes target practice, blow off some steam.
That must have hit all of Sophie's buttons. Exclusivity, excitement, maybe a bit forbidden.
Absolutely. Tapped right into that restlessness.
And the way Margot invites her, it's described as quite intense physically.
Very. Margot leans in, her voice is low and throaty, and her breath feels electric against my neck when she asks, care to join us?
Sophie just melts.
He nods robotically, willing to do anything she asks. It's crystal clear she's already hooked completely under Margot's spell, even before she knows what she's really getting into.
It's fascinating but also worrying how quickly she ignores a major warning sign right after this. Aaron tells her something, right?
Yeah, Aaron, her sensible friend, straight out tells her Margot Banks is not a nice person.
Yeah.
A direct, unambiguous warning.
But Sophie just files it away, ignores it.
Seems like it. She's so captivated by the promise of Margot's world, the thrill, the escape, that she chooses to ignore the red flag from someone she actually trusts. It really shows you how powerful that pull is, how much she wants what Margot seems to offer. Caution goes out the window.
Okay, so she's in. She's ignoring warnings, getting drawn deeper. This leads us into her becoming an unreliable narrator, doesn't it? And these friendships, they're not exactly healthy.
Not at all. The secrecy starts immediately. After that first shooting club night, she admits she didn't tell him Graham about Rusty's, the bar they went to afterwards.
Yeah.
She's already compartmentalizing, hiding things.
And she downplays the whole club thing to Graham.
Totally. When he asks, she's all casual, probably for no good reason. They just like the idea of being a part of something exclusive, just brushing it off.
But internally, she feels differently.
Oh, completely. She has this moment of brutal honesty with herself. If I'm honest, there's part of me that likes listening to them. It excites me, makes me feel alive. And then the kicker, maybe the most alive I've felt since moving back. No, not maybe. Definitely.
That's it, isn't it? The allure of the bad behavior. It's giving her the rush she was missing.
Exactly. She's seeking excitement to cure the boredom, and this provides it in spades, even though it directly contradicts why she supposedly moved to Mabelton in the first place. It's classic self-sabotage, fueled by that thrill-seeking urge.
And this bad behavior seems to be the glue holding the hunting wives' cliques together.
Very much so. Tina, who seems the most straightforward, gives us the inside scoop. She talks about Margot's insatiable appetite for men, her constant war with her husband Jed, who apparently banged half his staff, and how Margot keeps punishing him.
Sounds like a power game.
Definitely. It's described almost like Mean Girls for adults. Alliances are shifting, secrets are currency, or maybe weapons.
And Callie's relationship with Margot sounds particularly intense.
Yeah, Tina calls her all single white female with Margot. Lives nearby, drives the same car, wants to be her. It's beyond admiration. It's a bit obsessed.
And there were rumors about them from boarding school.
Hints of a thing between them back then. Adds another layer of complexity and potential volatility.
So secrets bind them, but also create tension, like with Jill.
Right. You see Jill get uncomfortable when Margot pries into her sex life with Alex. And then Callie jumps in with that cutting remark about Jill's secret dresser for sex toys. It's public humiliation masked as banter.
So how does this dynamic even work? Shared secrets, but constant tension and betrayal simmering underneath.
It seems like the shared thrill-seeking, the pushing of boundaries, is what keeps them together. It creates this weird feedback loop of excitement and risk, but it's built on incredibly shaky ground. Trust isn't really part of the equation.
And the risky behavior just keeps escalating. The trip to Dallas.
Oh, yeah. Margot texts Sophie, bring a change of clothes, we're going out tonight. And Sophie just packs a slinky top and black ballet flats ready to go.
But Margot vetoes the outfit.
Blatantly, Sophie, I don't mean to be a bitch, but that won't do. And Sophie just changes into the dress Margot provides, which hugs my hips but otherwise fit perfectly. It shows how much Sophie wants Margot's approval.
And there's that moment when Margot zips her up, more blurring of lines.
Definitely deliberate intimacy. Margot's hands are warm against my neck. Her breath felt like a kiss. Sophie feels her skin tingle, gets goosebumps. It's manipulative, pulling Sophie closer.
Then the nightclub itself sounds like things went off the rails. The drinking.
Heavy drinking with these Russian businessmen. They're doing shots. The vodka tastes a little like alcohol, which is always a red flag. Sophie ends up feeling drugged and eventually blacked out.
A total loss of control. And she has these disturbing flashes of memory about Margot.
Yeah, she thinks she sees Margot breaking the supposed second rule of the hunting wives. We don't go all the way. She remembers Margot just staring at me through all of it while dancing intimately with one of the businessmen.
That's creepy.
It is. Combine that with her feeling drugged and this unsettling look she catches from Callie. It paints a really disturbing picture. Foreshadows serious trouble.
And the trouble arrives. All this reckless behavior, the secrets, it leads directly to the murder mystery, right?
Absolutely. It escalates from personal recklessness to something fatal. The consequences start hitting Sophie hard even before the body is found. Graham finds texts between her and Margot.
How does he react?
He's furious. He accuses spitting her name out as if it's an object of disgust. You can feel the damage being done to their marriage right there.
And Sophie keeps digging the hole deeper by lying.
Yeah, Graham asks point blank, "Are you hiding something?" And she is. Even after Abby's body is discovered, she makes that panic call to Tina, but she doesn't tell her everything she knows about Margot and Brad or the clinic visit.
She says the truth stays lodged inside my chest, a stubborn stabbing pain.
That choice to conceal, to protect Margot or herself, just traps her further in this web of deceit. It's a cascade of bad decisions.
So Abby Wilson, the local teenager, disappears. How does that news break?
It starts with a local news report. Local girl missing since last night. Abby's described as the perfect girl next door 17, cheerleader, honor roll, beloved by all.
And the hunting wives' reaction, initially.
Oh, very performative sympathy in their group texts. Lots of praying for sweet Abby, that kind of thing.
But then the discovery.
Grim news. Abby's body is found shot to death. And the location is damning. Margot's land, right at the clearing where we shoot.
Oh, wow. Right where the secret club meets. That immediately implicates them, or at least throws suspicion their way.
Hugely. And then comes the autopsy bombshell.
What is it?
Abby was pregnant.
Ah, that changes everything. What does Sophie immediately think?
Her mind jumps straight to Brad, Margot's brother, who was secretly dating Abby. She thinks, surely that's the real reason he was trying to dump her, and most likely the reason he killed her.
She becomes convinced Brad did it.
Certain. She says, I no longer wonder if Brad did it. I'm certain he did, and I'm positive Margot helped him.
Why Margot? What connects her?
Sophie remembers seeing a text on Margot's phone to someone labeled B. Brad, saying simply, get rid of her.
Chilling. That's pretty damning.
Extremely sinister implications. And it fuels Sophie's next move. She starts investigating.
Playing journalist again.
Kind of. She pretends to be writing for a made-up blog and starts visiting clinics in Dallas looking for where Abby might have gone. She hits the OBGYN group of Highland Park.
And she finds something. Someone who remembers Abby.
Yes, Stacy, the receptionist. Crucial witness. Stacy remembers Abby coming in late one afternoon, just before closing. And she wasn't alone.
Who was with her?
2 women, Stacy says. One was a blonde who sat in the lobby like a statue, but the other one, I just keep remembering how pushy she was.
Pushy how?
Stacy overheard the brunette telling Abby, you know we already talked about this, you know it's what's best, so sign the paperwork, sweetie. We need to get this taken care of. Abby was clearly hesitant, and this woman was coercing her.
And Sophie figures out who these women were.
Yes. The pushy brunette, Callie, and blonde statue and oversized sunglasses. She realizes it was definitely Margot.
Wow. Concrete proof Margot and Callie were involved in trying to pressure Abby about the pregnancy.
Exactly. It's no longer just suspicion. It's evidence connecting them directly to Abby's situation right before her death.
So the investigation is heating up. Sophie has this information, but then things take another dark turn.
A massive one. Margot is found dead.
What? How?
The newspaper report says prominent socialite dead, cause of death, drowning. But crucially, due to obvious signs of a struggle, police suspect foul play.
And happening on the same property as Abby's murder.
Exactly. It connects the 2 deaths immediately and suggests something much bigger and more dangerous is going on.
How does Sophie even process this, given her intense, complicated feelings about Margot?
It's really complex. She reflects, I was obsessed and entranced by Margot, but I wasn't in love with her. And part of me had even grown to hate her.
So not grief exactly.
No, she calls it a disorienting sadness, a confusion, but specifically not deep grief. It really underscores that her obsession wasn't about love or real connection.
What does that tell us about the obsession then, if it wasn't love?
It suggests it was always more about what Margot represented. The excitement, the escape, the validation Sophie craved. It was projection, not connection. And her first instinct after hearing the news, self-preservation.
She immediately points the finger elsewhere.
Yep. She tells Detective Flynn, Margot now believes that Callie is actually the one responsible for Abby's death and for setting me up for it, trying to shift suspicion onto Callie.
But then she has this horrifying realization about the gun Margot made her use. Daddy's gun.
Yes, it clicks into place with chilling clarity. It had been her plan all along. The text asking her to stay, the kiss during spin the bottle, insisting she use that specific gun. All of it was premeditated.
She thinks Margot framed her for Abby's murder.
She's completely convinced she framed me. It's this terrifying moment where she realizes she was just a pawn in Margot's game.
So she goes to confront Margot, but Margot's already dead. Who does she find instead?
Callie. and Callie has a shotgun.
Whoa, how does Callie react?
Pure aggression, fiercely loyal to Margot even now. She points the gun at Sophie, tells her, "You need to leave." It's incredibly tense.
This must make Sophie think Callie could be the killer, right? Given her obsession and jealousy.
Absolutely. Callie's reaction here, seeing Sophie as this threat even after Margot's death, makes her look incredibly suspicious. What depths would her jealousy drive her to? Sophie starts to seriously consider Callie as the killer of both Abby and Margot.
So, Sophie's suspecting Callie, trying to save herself. What happens next? Does she try to expose Callie?
She makes this frantic phone call to Jill, trying to lay out her theory about Margot framing her and Callie potentially being the killer.
Yeah.
She's an ally.
And Jill listens?
They meet by the lake, and it's there, on the calm water, that the absolute truth comes out. And it's not Callie.
It's Jill. What does she confess?
It's brutal. Jill just says, almost calmly, "I do hate Margot. That's why I held her underwater."
Oh my God. Just like that.
Just like that. She adds Margot was soused as usual and didn't put up that much of a struggle. The coldness is shocking.
And Abby. Did Jill kill Abby too? Why?
Yes, Jill reveals Abby became unmanageable after Brad dumped her and wouldn't deal with the baby.
Yeah.
So Jill drove Abby to her lake house, planning to talk to her,
Yeah.
but ended up killing her instead.
So Jill killed them both. Did she try to frame Margot for Abby's murder initially?
Yes, that was her plan. But she admits she grabbed the wrong gun, a mistake that foiled the initial frame-up.
Unbelievable. And what was her plan for Sophie now?
Even more chilling. She lays it out. It will look like a suicide. Especially you offing yourself on Margot's land. Everyone now knows how in love you were with her. It's so perfect.
Framing Sophie for everything. Abby's murder, Margot's murder, and her own suicide.
Exactly. And this way, everyone will really believe you killed Abby. And probably Margot as well. It's a terrifyingly neat psychopathic solution.
How does Sophie escape this?
In the most unexpected way possible. Callie shows up.
Callie saves her after pointing a shotgun at her earlier.
Yes. Callie jams her shotgun into Jill's back, stopping her just in time.
Wow. What does that say about Callie? Her loyalty to Margot must have overridden everything else.
It seems so. It's this incredibly complex act. Her obsession with Margot, her twisted love, ultimately leads her to prevent Jill from getting away with Margot's murder, even though it means saving Sophie, her rival. It makes Callie a much more complicated figure than just the jealous obsessor. She's capable of this strange, almost heroic act driven by that loyalty.
Okay, so the mystery is solved, the killer revealed. Let's talk about the bigger picture now, the themes Cobb is exploring. Privilege seems like a huge one.
Absolutely central. The hunting wives operate with this sense of being above it all, that the normal rules don't apply to them. Their reckless actions, the drinking, the affairs, the secrets, all stem from this belief in their own immunity.
It's a critique of entitlement, isn't it?
Definitely. A sharp critique of the entitlement and lack of accountability among the wealthy and privileged. You see it with the Banks family and their generational oil money. You see it with Jed Banks thinking he's untouchable despite his behavior.
And Jill's confession is the ultimate example.
Chillingly so. Her calmness, admitting to murder, her immediate calculation on how to frame Sophie. It shows a complete void where moral accountability should be. Her status makes her feel she can manipulate reality, escape consequences. It's a terrifying outcome of unchecked privilege.
Let's talk about Sophie as a protagonist. She's not always easy to root for. She makes some really frustrating choices.
She absolutely does. The self-deception, lying to Graham, the obsession, getting involved in the first place. She's deeply flawed. Definitely fits the bill of an unlikable protagonist.
Is that a strength of the novel, though? Having her be so flawed?
I think so, yeah. Especially in a thriller. It makes the story more gripping and unpredictable. You don't know what she'll do next because her judgment is compromised. A perfect hero can be boring. Sophie's flaws make it feel more real, more tense.
And her internal honesty about her darker urges being amplified by the boredom. Does that make her relatable, even if you don't like her choices?
That's the interesting question, isn't it? For you, the listener. Does that vulnerability make her more human, more relatable, despite the mess she makes? Or less so? Her honesty about struggling, about feeling bored and restless, even if it leads her down a terrible path that might resonate with people, she feels very human in her contradictions.
The novel also has a lot to say about female friendships, or maybe the opposite of friendship.
Yeah, it draws a stark contrast.
Yeah.
You have Sophie's genuine connection with Aaron, who's this constant grounding presence. And then you have the hunting wives.
Which is built on what? Competition. Secrets.
All of the above. It's superficial, toxic, full of power plays. Not trust and support, but rivalry and manipulation.
The layers of betrayal are just staggering. Margot using Sophie, Callie's possessiveness.
And Jill's ultimate betrayal, murdering Abby, murdering Margot, trying to murder Sophie. It's the dark side of female connection, twisted into something monstrous.
It really makes you think, in our world of curated online lives and constant information, how do you spot the difference between real friendship and manipulation?
That's a huge takeaway. The Hunting Wives is like a cautionary tale about how easily those lines blur, especially when secrets, privilege, and intense desires collide. It shows how destructive those dynamics can become.
So wrapping up this deep dive, we've really hit on the power of obsession, the complex, often toxic nature of these female bonds, and that biting critique of privilege, all wrapped up in a pretty intense murder mystery.
Yeah, it leaves you questioning what's really going on beneath those perfect surfaces. And Sophie herself is left questioning. She wonders about Margot even at the end. Did I ever really know her? And did we really have something?
Even after everything, that connection or the idea of it still haunts her.
Exactly. She's as elusive to me now as she was when she was alive. The ambiguity remains, which feels very true to life sometimes.
And Sophie ends the book planting flowers, right?
Mhm.
Planting hope, but unsure she'll be there to see it bloom.
Yeah, it's a fragile, uncertain kind of hope, which leaves us with a final thought to chew on. How do you tell the difference between genuinely trying to change yourself, to grow, and just running away, thinking a change of scenery will fix what's inside? And what really makes a place feel like home anyway? Is it the place itself, or is it finding some kind of peace within yourself wherever you are?
That's a deep one to end on. Lots to think about there. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.